Welcome everyone to today's webinar. We're so excited to have you here. We have people from all over and every industry represented, all kind of the age spectrum. So we're very excited about today's webinar. Is now the time to become a real estate agent? I do want to tell you this webinar really came together in response to the turmoil and the chaos in the world today. There's a lot of people that are unemployed, questioning a career change, or both. So that's why we put this together. I want a huge thank you to our sponsors for helping us make this happen today. Our main sponsors are Risk Media and Realty Express. Many of you might not be familiar with either one of those, so I just want to tell you a little about both. Risk Media is really the premier news arm of real estate. It's like the New York Times or the Washington Post for real estate agents. It's recognized as a leading provider of the most relevant and up-to-date information for residential real estate market, and a lot of agents really rely on them to guide them in their business decisions. Real Estate Express is kind of like the Amazon of real estate, right? It's the one-stop shop for anyone who wants to get licensed or learn more about this industry. It's part of the Calibri Group brand of real estate education organization. Our guest interviewer today is Ms. Tina Lapp. Welcome, Tina.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
We are excited to have you here. Tina is the president of Hondros Education Group, which is another branch within that Calibri group of education providers. For more than 26 years, Tina spent her time focusing on helping prospective and current real estate professionals thrive in their careers. She's been licensed since 2002 and is active in many professional associations. She's a real estate educator and business expert, and we are thrilled to have you.
We are thrilled to be here. This is going to be a great, fun day. So many people, really great.
It's going to be exciting. Our numbers are climbing. I'm going to keep going. Our speaker today, our guest speaker today is the Daryl Davis. He's a real estate coach and an author and a speaker and an expert in both real estate and helping people design careers and lives worth smiling about. Daryl is the author of 3 books, all published by McGraw-Hill Publishing. McGraw-Hill is considered the premier publisher for education books. Daryl also was named by Risk Media as one of 2020's top newsmakers, influencers, and thought leaders. Daryl is also the recipient of the coveted CSP designation, which is only given to less than 2% of speakers worldwide. He's also the president of Daryl Davis Seminars, which has trained and coached over 100,000 agents, and the founder of the Power Agent Program for real estate professionals. Just as a CPA is to an accountant who takes their education and business to the next level, that's what being a power agent means to a real estate agent. It's taking that, what you know, and that education and really transforming it to the next level. This program has transformed careers, helped agents double their production over previous years, and provides really the support and the training agents need to run a successful business with more ease and less stress at every stage of their career. To get the most from this webinar, we want you to take really good notes, and we want you to text your questions using the question section there on your control panel. This is going to be a full hour, but we are going to, like Daryl just said, we're not running off. So we will be here to answer your questions at the end. So please feel free to use that question panel. And on that note, I'm going to let you two take it away. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good, Julie. I want to ask one thing because I have a slide I want to show, but right now the only thing we see on the screen is Tina and myself. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, I just want to make sure because I want to set this up. So Tina, if you'll give me a second because I am just doing something to get ready for our wonderful moment together, and I think I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, I'm going to get started then. So hello, everyone. Welcome. And Julie, thank you so much for that introduction. I'm really excited about this discussion and having the opportunity to explore the real estate industry. You know, the coronavirus pandemic has affected lives all over the world. It's put millions of people out of work in our country alone. And currently 1 in 5 Americans have filed for unemployment. So with businesses closing their doors, and some of them for good, many people are considering their options. So, you know, Darryl and I have been discussing, we've heard at Hondros and at Real Estate Express, several individuals who are taking a look at the real estate industry and exploring is now a good time. So this webinar was put together, you know, with our minds brainstorming of what insights you can gain and leaders in the real estate industry. And, you know, we are fortunate enough, thank you, Daryl, for spending the time with us today as a leading real estate expert, coach, speaker, who knows an awful lot about the real estate industry. So with that, you know, Daryl, welcome.
Thanks,
Welcome.
Tina. Thank you. Thank you. And by the way, thanks for you and Risk Media. It's really great when you have leading organizations like you guys to come together to help people. So I know this is going to be a great webinar for people. So everybody get buckled in and get ready because we're going to answer a lot of questions for you.
Yes, absolutely. So let's do this. Are you ready?
I'm ready, Tina. Go.
Let's jump in. So why don't you start by talking about, you know, what you do in real estate to help people?
Yeah, so I'm so glad we're starting with that question because I know there's people, by the way, we have different groups of people on this call. Some are actually already licensed. The majority of the people on this call are just starting the process, so they may not be clear like who I am and how I help agents. And so Tina, I thought this would be important for you to know that so you'd understand where we're coming from. And Tina, this is going to be a long answer, but there's a lot of knowledge. I'm going to answer several questions in one. So, so everybody just hang in there with me. In practicing real estate, just like in other professions, like you practice law or you're in the medical industry or a doctor, there's the front end and the back end to practice your business. So the front end is the educational aspect, right? So when you want to become a doctor, you're going to go to college, you're going to go to med school, same thing, similar to an attorney. So there's a lot of front end education to get licensed to practice your business. But once you get your license, they don't teach you in the technical learning of that industry how to run a business, right? So as an attorney, they teach you the law, but not how to run a law practice, how to hire staff, how to get new business, how to market yourself, promote yourself. Same thing with a doctor. They don't teach you how to manage your staff and how to manage your books and all that stuff. Okay. So there, in those industries, there's actually trainers and coaches that help a doctor run a doctor practice, a medical practice, and the same thing with attorneys. Same thing is true in real estate. In real estate, when you go to, let's say, Real Estate Express to learn how many square feet there is in an acre, what does an addendum mean, what does an easement mean? So there's all the technical aspect of the real estate industry, and then you get your state license. Now you have to make money. They don't teach you the how to make money part of real estate. That's where people like me come in. What I do along with other speakers and trainers is we take already licensed real estate agents and we show them how to prospect, how to get clients, how to communicate, how to coach people, and etc. Now, Tina, there's one other thing I want to share with people, if it's okay. So a little bit of extra content here for them.
Absolutely.
Is there's a direct correlate. There's two aspects of running a business and learning the business. There's the front end and the back end. So the front end, let's go to the other industries. Let's say the front end of becoming a doctor. I don't know what the education fees are. Tina, they're probably hundreds of thousands of dollars that they've got to spend to become a doctor, right? So
Sure.
right? So that's the front end. There's a lot of money and a lot of time going to med school. But once you get out of med school and you've done your internship and you're now a full-fledged doctor, the average medical doctor's income is $290,000. Now, an attorney's average income is $125,000. Their front end of going to law school is not as much as a doctor, but it's still difficult. Okay, real estate agents, the average, because I know some people are wanting to know this, the average income for a real estate agent is about $41,000. That's the average. The good thing about real estate, you can make as much as a doctor or a lawyer The average, though, is low because, watch this, the front end is easy to get into real estate. Well, easier compared to doctors or lawyers. You take your class, you take your exam, bada bing, you're licensed. The back end on how to run your real estate practice, that's where the real time money goes into. Coming to people like me, for example, and the challenge for a lot of agents and why the average income is 41 compared to an attorney 125 is because agents don't take that training. They don't realize the front end might be easy, but there's the back end. After they get their license, they got to really learn the business. So anyway, I hope that made sense what I just said.
Yeah, I do. I think that was beautiful. And, you know, real estate's just has unlimited potential. So now, you know, as we've seen an unprecedented number of people file for unemployment, I think it's over 13% of Americans are currently unemployed. Many of those job positions will never return for these folks.
Yeah.
Should someone consider real estate as a career at this point? Is now a good time?
Well, and Tina, that's a great question. That's why I wanted to start off with that little explanation because, first of all, I think real estate is the best profession that anybody can get in. And I think we'll talk about pros and cons later. But just to touch upon it right now, when you think about it, everything evolves around real estate. Everything. There's countries that fight over real estate. The White House is on a piece of real estate. Right now, people are watching this webinar and they're standing or sitting somewhere in a piece of real estate. The planet Earth is a piece of real estate in the universe. Everything evolves around real estate. So to me, this is the best profession anybody can get into. But should somebody get into it? Absolutely. But it's not going to be so easy to succeed and be money. I don't want to sugarcoat it. As we said earlier, there has to be, once you get licensed, there's still the learning process to be successful at real estate. So, but as far as, but let me go to your question. The question is now a good time to get into real estate? The real estate industry as a whole right now is actually, as you know, doing very well. This coronavirus has really taken, as you said, Tina, has taken people out of their jobs and they're not getting hired back. Or they've owned businesses. I'm sure you, like me, I know people who are business owners. They've lost their business and they have to reinvent themselves. But there are some industries that's not been the case. Some industries have actually thrived because of the coronavirus. Now, real estate hasn't thrived, but real estate is very healthy. Right now, we have seen supply and demand is the secret in real estate. When there's too much supply, meaning too many houses for sale, not enough people wanting to buy it, that's when real estate is definitely not healthy. Right now, we have low supply of real estate, but high demand. We've seen sales go down. I think it's about 26% year over year. So sales are down, but the property values have gone up about 6%. I'm talking national numbers. I'm not an economist, so I'm not the best person to like be quoting numbers and stuff, but conceptually, this is what I know. I know that the industry is healthy. But agents, I can't stress it enough, they have to be skilled at this business because the fact that sales have come down a little bit, the agent population is still there. So let me do it this way. If let's say you've got 10 possible sales in a community, and you've got 20 agents in that community, it's like musical chairs. Somebody's not going to do well in that numbers.
Right.
Because, right, so there's less sales than agents. And so we're finding that, you know, to get Tina, just to interrupt myself, I was looking at the stats before this call, and we have since 2011, the real estate realtors, we'll talk about realtors in a minute, realtors was just under 1 million in 2011. It's gone up every year since 2011. Last year, we closed the year with 1.4 million realtors. Right now, we're at 1.380,000. So we've lost 20,000 agents since December. And I think it's because some of the agents in this new real estate reality, because of the coronavirus thing, the industry, as you know, has changed on how we show property and how we close real estate and et cetera. Some of those agents have not been able to adjust. So I think there's opportunity for new agents coming into the business. So anyway, I think this is a good time for people to get into real estate. I'm sorry that was such a long answer to your question.
No, the information, I think we're like sponges here. So the information's fabulous. So
Good.
that being said, how do you think the coronavirus is going to impact the real estate industry over the next 5 years or so?
You know, I really have stopped predicting, and I tell my students to not predict because we really don't know. There's a lot of people that like to make predictions there, and they use past data to make those predictions, and I think that's interesting. But I wouldn't make my business plans based on that, and here's why: because you can't look back to any past that was ever like what we're seeing right now.
Yeah,
There's
without a
never
doubt.
been a pandemic. There's never been all at the same time. Pandemic, unemployment rates, the leadership in Washington D.C. I mean, and now the I don't want to say riots, the Black Lives Matter. I mean, there's so many things that have never been all at once like this. So it's really hard to make a prediction of what's going to happen 5 years from now. But let's go back to what I said at the very top of this. Everything evolves around real estate. There's always going to be somebody, right, that wants to buy a home and somebody who wants to sell it to them, and the real estate professional brings those people together. So I think that real estate's always a great profession to be in, regardless of the outside circumstances in the world. And that's an important thing that we tell our students too, is that you don't be at the effect of what's happening on the outside. Tina, I'll share this analogy. It just came up on our with our students. So in our coaching program, we have because you and I didn't get a chance to talk about this, but every Monday, our students call in to a number where I'm live and they ask me questions and I coach them every Monday. And one of the power agents had asked something about the stress that they were dealing with, whatever. And I told them that there's a thermostat and there's a thermometer. So this talks about the coronavirus. So the thermostat and the thermometer. So a thermometer kind of regulates based on what's happening on the outside, right? So if it's hot, it goes up. If it's cold, it goes down. Whereas a thermostat sets the temperature in the room. I hope that people are not the thermometer, but they're the thermostat. That they're not infected or affected by what's happening on the outside world, that they cause their life to be the way they want. And again, another reason why I love real estate so much, because every morning, an agent gets to wake up and say, this is what I'm worth today, not having somebody else tell them this is what you're worth this week. So anyway, to answer your question, the coronavirus in the next 5 years, who knows? But right now, people still want to buy and sell real estate.
Yeah, great analogy. Great comments.
Thanks.
So when people ask about real estate, we hear the question, am I getting into real estate sales, or should it be I'm getting into the real estate profession? How do you think about that?
Yeah, that's really great because, if there's something that we're still struggling to work on, is the perception of real estate salespeople. And I don't like to refer to them as real estate salespeople, but real estate professionals, because just the language of sales versus profession, sales doesn't do it justice enough, because there's things that people don't realize that it goes into selling a home. Most people that are not in the business, they see on the outside, right? They see, okay, you drive people around, although that's changed because of this new real estate reality and the coronavirus, but you have an open house and you blow up balloons. And so on the surface, being a real estate salesperson seems easy, but man, oh man, it is a profession. You really have to learn marketing skills and managing money and dealing with the emotional highs and lows that go into running a business. I mean, truly, when you are in real estate industry as a professional, you are your own boss, you are running your own business, just like any business. If you were going to open up a 7-Eleven or a pizzeria, whatever, you're opening up a business. When you get into real estate, you're not getting into real estate sales, you're getting into the real estate profession, and you're opening it up, and you've got to learn those skill sets that are needed. I will say this, Tina, it's something that I am happy to see. Back in the average, according to the National Association of Realtors, back in 1981, 15% of homeowners who wanted to sell their home would sell it themselves. 15%. So 85% would list with a real estate agent in 1981. Now, 7% try to sell it themselves. 93% hire a real estate professional. And I do believe that number is going to be even more because of the coronavirus. My point here is, Tina, is that I believe the traditional homeowner, civilians, as I like to lovingly call them, they are now seeing, you know what, real estate is not a sales business, it's a profession, and I need a professional, just like I need other professionals in my life. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Love that answer. So some say that real estate agents get a bad rap. Do you think that's true?
yeah, I think, like I said, I think back in the 80s and 70s, and I think there was that because you see, the problem in our industry is that the entry level is easy. As I said, the front end, it's easy to get into real estate. The back end is where the work is. And I think that's created a bit of a stigma, and everybody can get into real estate. There used to be a joke I used to tell, I've been speaking now, Tina, for 30 years, and I dye my hair, so you can't. But anyway, 30 years ago, Tina, when I first started doing seminars and training, I had an opening joke I used to do, which was a guy goes to a bar, and the bouncer asked him to see his real estate license. And the guy said, "My real estate license? Don't you mean my driver's license?" The bouncer said, "No, not everybody's got a driver's license." So in other words, everybody and the mother was getting into real estate. So it was so easy. And I think that hurt the perception of our industry. But like I said, over the years, as you know, qualifications in states, they've raised the entry level. It is now harder. It's still easier compared to these other professions like doctors and lawyers, but it's harder now. So that's helped raise the professionalism of our industry. And so I think we're getting less of a better at. And I will tell you, because of the coronavirus, I think, Tina, more homeowners are like, man, I don't want to sell my own home. I mean, this is too, right? It's just too confusing. Should I let people in? Should I wait until the market changes and the virus goes away? So what our students have been telling us, homeowners are actually seeking out now real estate agents more now than ever because they need that help. So.
Yeah, it really is a profession, and going into it with thinking that way, that's great. So
now, by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt you. There's a couple of times I almost wanted to use the word realtor, and I just want to, for trademark purposes, define that for people. Again, because you and I, the people watching this call, they may not understand this. When you become licensed in your state, you're not a realtor. You're a licensed real estate professional by the state. A realtor is somebody who's part of the National Association of Realtors, which is a separate organization, which is the leading organization in the industry. So sometimes people confuse that, oh, everybody's a realtor. No, most agents are, because it's such an awesome organization. But a realtor subscribes to a higher code of ethics. We have a system where we police ourselves. We make sure the integrity of what we do is high. And So of course, that's why everybody, once they get their license, they become a realtor, but not most people, but not everybody is a realtor. So I just wanted to clarify that. Okay.
Yeah, good distinction, good clarity. So now that we've heard this, like, what are the pros of becoming a real estate agent and getting licensed?
Yeah, so in anything, there's pros and cons, right? So the pros for sure is that what I said, everything evolves around real estate, in my opinion. Tina, I gotta quote Warren Buffett. I think a lot of people on this call probably know Warren Buffett. For those of you who don't, Warren Buffett is when you look up stock market tactics, stock market guru, you'll see Warren Buffett's name. Multi-billionaire, made it from the stock market.
Yeah.
Okay. He was on CNBC Squawk Box a few years ago, and they were talking, somehow real estate came up, and there was the quote. He said, if I could, I would buy up hundreds of thousands single family homes. Because if you look at residential real estate compared to the stock market long term, real estate outperforms the stock market. Now, here's a multi-billionaire who's saying real estate's better than the stock market, right? And he made his billions from real estate. So I think that's one of the pros, is being in such a great profession. I don't want to get lost in the weeds on the technical and the financial, but if you're in real estate as a professional, you have the opportunity, if you want, to invest in real estate. I wouldn't become a real estate agent to become an investor, but if you bought one house a year, depending on where you are in your age and retirement, you can do really super well. And the great thing about real estate, it's considered a depreciating asset. Again, I don't want to get lost in this. So real quick, when you buy a refrigerator, it loses its value every year. And that's right, you know this. So that's a house. So the IRS thinks a house loses value every year. Now, you and I both know real estate goes up every year. So this is why real estate's such a great investment for people, because you're making money two ways: in the equity going up, but from a tax standpoint, in it going down. Okay, why else? You're your own boss as a real estate professional. You make your own schedule. You can make six figures, easy entry into the business. So those are the pros of real estate.
All right,
I think
now
you got,
we're gonna
now go
have to
ahead.
go to the cons, I suppose.
All right, let's do the cons.
Yeah.
The cons is it's hard on the back end. You've got to learn how to prospect. You've got to learn how to communicate with people. You've got to overcome fear. Part of being a successful agent is looking for business, which means you have to prospect. Means you have to maybe knock on some doors or make some calls or ask family and friends. Like, you've got to go out there. People are just not going. It's not like a doctor. You say, let's go back to a doctor. Hard on the front end, easier on the back end, because once you're a doctor, it's easy to find business. You put a shingle out and say, oh, he's a doctor, I need a doctor. But for a real estate professional, it's the opposite. We've got to go out and get that business. The other con, the first year of real estate. Now, I wrote a book on how to make 100 grand, Tina, your first year in real estate, for McGraw-Hill.
Yeah, great.
Okay, so I wrote that book, but the average agent, their first year income is $15,000 the first year. So, so some people, if because of this coronavirus, if you're in financial challenges, real estate will not be the quick fix answer for you, because it'll take some time. If you sold a house today, it would take you at least 2 months until you actually see the closing check. So it's going to take some time. So that's one of the cons. The fact that you are your own boss, that's a pro, but it's also a con, because you've got to, in corporate America, you can call in sick, and have sick days and vacation days, and you still get a paycheck. In real estate, you're only as good as your last commission check, the last house that you closed. So if you decide not to get out of bed one day, you're going to feel that in your business. So, and the other thing is, this is not a 40-hour-a-week business. It's going to be stressful for you and your family as you start to learn this new industry that you're getting involved in. So you've got to pay those dues. There's the highs and lows of cash flow. Sometimes you'll have 1 month, you could sell 2 or 3 houses, make 10 or 15, $20,000, and then the next 2 months you have nothing. So you've got to learn money management with that. And sometimes agents are not, well, this would be true, I guess, Tina, in any profession, but most agents who come in, they're excited.
Yeah.
Right, and they want to help people, and it's a great profession, and then they go into an office, and then there's other agents that are not maybe as nice, because we go back to, if there's 10 sales in a marketplace and there's 20 agents, there's some competitiveness. So that happens sometimes, where there's maybe you don't get that support from other agents that you would hope, and that could be a negative for some people. So
yeah, it absolutely takes some discipline, right?
It does.
Discipline, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So once you're in, how do you generate revenue?
Okay, so there's a lot of good articles on this, and I think I want to show something here. We're going to come to that in a second. I want to show a slide in a minute, but so so let me give the broad strokes here. Now, I'm going to use a commission percentage as an example, but there is a legal thing about price fixing, and we're not price fixing, and we're not, right? But we have to use some kind of number. So I'm going to use 6% as an example, okay? So if, let's say, a homeowner is selling their house for $300,000, and there's a 6% commission, that's $18,000 commission. That commission gets split up between the 2 main players in the transaction, the selling side, which would be that selling agent, and the listing agent, the person who was hired to market the house. So traditionally, I don't want to say traditionally, but just in this example, so $18,000 would be split. That's $9,000, $9,000. Then that $9,000 gets split with the agent and their broker that they're working under. So that could be, 50%, 80%. That's part of what you look at when you're deciding what company you want to work at. But if we just keep it really simple and say 50%, so you're looking at about 4,500. I think the industry training average, we say 5,000. So for every house you sell, you can make 5,000. Now, if you're in New York or in the Hamptons and you sell a multi-million dollars, it's going to be a lot higher. So there's that formula. The other formula, just to be clear with people too, is there's different fields in real estate, right, Tina? There's residential, which is kind of what we've been alluding to the whole time, but there's commercial. Their pay structure is different. There's working with condos. The pay structure is the same, but it's a different type of sale that you have to learn. There's land. That's different. You got them working with investors. So when you get into real estate, there's different fields that you can focus on. The most popular, though, is residential, single family homes, bada bing.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I think that's
good though, to get us thinking about the different opportunities in real estate outside of residential. They certainly exist. So that's great.
I will say this, team, because when I got into real estate, when I was 19 years old, and I have this. Well, I'll share a little personal story real quick. Is that I've been living on my own since I was 16. And so I supported myself at 16. I had my own job, and I actually, before I was 22, I had already started 4 businesses. Okay, so I've always been an entrepreneur person, and so when I was looking at like what my career would be, I chose real estate, and it was either going to be real estate or insurance. So I looked at what it took to become an insurance salesperson, getting a Series 7's license, and that exam, blah, blah, blah. I chose real estate. Now, when I went into real estate, I was like, well, should I do residential or commercial? And I do want to say this much for people. It's really hard to do both. And now some agents do, but commercial is like a whole different set of rules on how you work. The commissions can be bigger, but it's harder. So I just want people to be aware that residential is here to put a pin on it. Residential it's emotional mostly. Buyers buy with emotion. They walk into the house and go, oh, this is my house.
Yeah.
It's emotional, right? Commercial is like, show me the numbers. And the numbers work. Am I going to have enough traffic to is this the square footage good for how many employees? So it's all really number based, not emotional based. So that's it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Home buying is emotional. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
So, and I love that concept of turning challenges into opportunities like that, like you've done. That's fabulous.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah. So if I'm getting into this, what should an agent expect to make their first year?
Okay. I have a graph
Mm-hmm.
from the McKissick,
Yes, yes.
because I found this. Hang on. So I got to put it up and then I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Can you see it? Is it up there?
Yep, we can see
Okay.
it.
So, because to be honest, I wasn't sure of the numbers. So I said, let me search it. And bada bing, your website showed up. And so there you have it. So 15,000 would be in that first year. 1 year to 3 is 38,000, 4 to 10, 63. So everybody can see the numbers there. So once you get into year 11, you're making 6 figures. This is average numbers. Now, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I know some agents who've been in business for 20 years and they're still making $15,000. So it's going with what I said earlier, is that in real estate, you are determining your revenue, your value. You have to work this. It is not handed to you. It's easy entry, but you've got to, like, I don't know if that's a good analogy. Like if I say you can play in the NFL, there you go. Go get on the field. It's your skill that's going to keep you on the team, right? So that's what's true about I don't know why I used that because I'm not into sports. So I hope I did it right. All right. So anyway, so what now part of the reason why people, as they put more years in, their income goes up is because a lot of real estate too is building a referral business, building relationships with people. So just think about when you get into real estate your first year, you really don't know anybody, right? You haven't sold any houses yet. You know your friends and your family, but they're probably reluctant to do business with you because they know that you're new. And so that's unnerving to them. So you've got to overcome your own fear and learn how to communicate with people. And so there's that in the first year, right? So after you've got that and there's things as a new agent you don't know and you don't even know you didn't know it. So there's a lot of discovery in the field. And then when you start selling houses and then you build a client base, when you get into year 10, some of these people are that you sold a house to, they want to now sell that and buy a new one. They'll call you. So you're getting repeat business. And that's why it grows like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful. So let's move on talking about like a day in the life and where do agents physically work? Is that a thing? How does that work?
Yeah. So, it's so funny when you think about this, when you and I being in real estate, eat, sleeping, and drinking this profession, we sometimes don't realize like a civilian that's like do you buy a briefcase and go to a building and right? And so in this new real estate reality, that's what we've been calling this in my training company since the coronavirus, because things have changed. Just to go off a little bit here, like showing real estate is different now. Before the coronavirus, you would do a public open house, you'd have balloons, buyers come in. Now with this coronavirus, we're not doing that as much. So we have to show properties virtually and using imagery and 3D tours. Anyway, so we're in this new real estate reality. And because of that, there's even less people going into an office. So they're making their office in their home. And some people their car is their mobile office, right? So so there's no physical place that you're working, and it's not like corporate America. And by the way, we may cover this also, Tina, but I just thought of it because I was talking We were very excited to do this webinar. We've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now, and I've been talking with people to try and, because I have the curse of knowledge. I've been in this business for 30 years. Like, it was hard for me to look at it through somebody who's never been in real estate.
Fresh,
So
yeah.
I was trying to think how would a person, or what questions and answers. And so here's something I want to share with you, is that for people that are coming from corporate America, the culture is different because, you're getting paid a check and your boss tells you, here's your job, here's what to do, and you don't know how to do it, we will help you do it.
Mhm.
And even if you're not the best at it, you're still getting that check. That's so not real estate, right? You are, right? So no one's giving you a job description, no one's giving you a paycheck. So again, it goes back to that front and back end. So it's in that back end where, this is why there's so many people like me that coach real estate agents, because we tell the agents, all right, here's what you should be focused on. Here's how you prospect. Here's how you call for sale by owner. Here's how you do a listing appointment. So you really are, so people should think, if you decide to become a real estate professional, what I like people to think is you're actually opening up a real estate business. And it's kind of like this. Oh, here's a good analogy. So there's McDonald's, the corporation, right? And then each individual store is a business within the business of McDonald's. So if I bought a McDonald's franchise, McDonald's is going to tell me, all right, here's how you order from us and here's how you do, right? But I still ultimately have to do the local promotion, the advertising, the hiring, the people. So it's a business within the business. That's real estate. The broker is the McDonald's corporation, and then you are your own individual business, and you've got to think of it that way. Okay. So.
Yeah. So in that analogy, and that's a great way to think about it. So I want to get into real estate. I'm getting started. What are my startup expenses?
So, the beginning part of the expenses is going to be licensing fees, joining. Now, here's something else. If you become licensed, you should join the National Association of Realtors, which means there's going to be that expense. Then there's the local board, because how the National Association works is you have National Association of Realtors, and then you have the states. I'm from New York, so then we have the New York State Association of Realtors, and then I'm on Long Island, so we have the Long Island Board of Realtors. So there's those 3 levels. And so a new agent should find that board of realtors, join that board, and get heavily involved in that board, because there's networking, there's education, you learn behind the scenes of real estate through that, so they should be active in that. And then you'll have the expense of your business cards and your website, your CRM. So there's that aspect of running a business. So I tell people a minimum of $2,000 to $5,000 is what you'll need to start running your business. Now, let's just stop for a second. They can come to you guys. This is what I think that everybody should do on this call. It's hard to really know if this profession is for you until you're in the profession doing it.
Yeah.
You can have an idea, but you really don't know until you know. So I encourage everybody to at least get into a school with you guys, learn the technical aspect of the business, take the exam and get licensed, and now you've got that piece done. Then before you really go all in, you can start to dabble in learning behind the curtain scenes. Tina, we have some of our students that aren't even actively licensed in real estate. Our coaching is $27 a month, which is a ridiculous low, but that's what we charge. And so, yeah, people don't realize that that's like the best investment in real estate. So we have some agents who are in our coaching, and they're getting ready to get into real estate so they can hit the ground running, knowing the behind the scenes of here's how you run a business. But it also helps people really say, oh, what, I have to call for sale by owners and say that? Oh, I don't know if I would want to do that. So it helps people weed out and decide really if they want to be in the business, So anyway, So
Yeah.
to answer your question, I'm sorry to put a pin on it, to full-fledged really start, and it depends on where you are in the country, I'd say between $2,000 to $5,000 is a good rule of thumb.
Yeah. And that initial licensing, it's a really low barrier to entry, but it's where you get started. It's where you
Exactly.
get started, you learn the laws and the rules and all the things you can and can't do, but then you got to make that commitment to learning the business. And if you have that enthusiasm and excitement for it, get started and get licensed and you go from there. So
I love what you just said, Tina, the way you said that, because, be excited about the possibility, like pursue that. And
yeah,
at the same time, be okay with not knowing what you don't know. Right? Like some people, like they don't want to do it because they feel like, oh, I don't want to be stupid. I don't know. That's okay. You're starting a new venture in your life. Be
yeah,
excited about the possibility. It's the fact that you don't know is what can be exciting, and you'll learn it, and you be patient and forgiving of yourself for the mistakes that you will make, because every new agent makes the mistakes. So,
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And be open to learning. I think that's great.
absolutely.
So if I'm going to get started in real estate, what are your thoughts? Can you do real estate part-time?
Yeah, you can, but it's harder. It's like, just let's go back to the doctor lawyer analogy. If you went to law school or medical school part-time, how's that going to work? It can, but it's going to take longer to get certified, to get licensed, and it's harder to maintain stuff. So I'm not saying that you can't. We've seen some agents. I will say I've seen some agents, they made six figures their first year and then they quit their other job and came full time. But those agents, they're working their tushy off because they got the regular 40 hours a week. And then after that, and if they've got family, they've got to be on board because you're never going to be home. So you
Yeah.
can, and it's not easy. So
Yeah, I think each individual really needs to evaluate if that's a possibility for them.
exactly, exactly.
So as a real estate agent, would I be trained in the field? We talked a little bit about a day in the life. Like, what is that? What could they expect for training?
Oh, great question. So there's there's so when you get licensed, all right, so let's go back. You go to school, you learn the technical aspect of real estate based on your book knowledge. You take an exam, and if you retain what was in the book, you got licensed. Then you choose a real estate office that you're going to work in. And so as a real estate salesperson, you're licensed under a broker. And that varies. So some brokers are smaller, intimate, but they may not be great at training. Then you have franchises that have training programs within the franchise, but then you're paying a percentage of your commission back to the franchise for that. Um, and that's not field training. So you may get training from a national, like, I don't want to favorite any one company, but so I won't. So you'll be with a brand name and they'll give you training, but still the day to day, like when you wake up in the morning and go to sleep at night, some brokers rarely, but some do, they'll have field training where they'll assign you to another agent and you shadow that agent, like in the restaurant business where you're going to be a waiter. So you first shadow a waiter in your first week or 2 weeks so you can learn that
Mhm.
restaurant, how they run. So some brokers do that, but it's extremely rare. So
Got it. So it sounds like everyone should really do their homework and talk and find out what's available and what's important to them, whether it's a mentor or training. It sounds like there's a lot of different models out there.
there is. And again, Tina, that's why there's many of me, other speakers and trainers.
There's no one
There's,
like you,
oh, that's, thank you. Tell my fiance that sometimes. You hear that? No, I'm just kidding.
Daryl.
Anyway, so in the training aspect, yes, there's a few of us. There's probably like 5 that have the most name recognition.
Got it.
And then within that, though, after that, there's a lot of great educators and coaches and trainers. And that's why, my business is thriving because there are so many new agents that are getting into real estate because of the coronavirus, and they need that guidance
Yeah.
because it is lacking that field training aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a need. So what characteristics do you think a person should have to be successful in real estate?
Okay, so I, so I'm hesitating because I'm thinking about my son. My son, he was thinking like he asked me, he said, Dad, do you think I should get into real estate? Now let me tell you something, Tina. I love my son. He's my only child, and I love him to death. And I told him he should absolutely not get into real estate. And the reason why, and I learned from interacting and speaking with him why I said that. I believe there's two types of people. There are employers and there's employees. And you can, when you know where you stand in that, you can be very successful. Like for me, I could never be an employee. Why? Because since 16 years old, I've been an employer, an entrepreneur, running my own business. I could never work for somebody else. It's just not who I am. You can be an employee where you have that steady income and succeed in your profession because you love it and you don't have the stress of making those kind of ownership decisions, right? So to be successful in real estate, you have to be an entrepreneur, an employer mentality, where you're advertising or promotion, or you're going out and prospecting and generating business. So that is the most important asset. Characteristic is to have that employer entrepreneur mentality. Now, with that said, the reason why, Tina, the average income in real estate is $42,000 is because there are some employee mentality agents working in the business, and that's capping their income because they'll pop a few sales here or pop a few sales there, or they might be on a team, which, by the way, that's an okay thing too. If you realize that, okay, my characteristic is not an entrepreneur, it's more of an employee, can I still be in real estate? Absolutely. You can work with a top agent who develops a team. So there's some agents that are making six figures, and under them, they have other agents that help them show properties, work with buyers. They're not an employee, but they're under the umbrella of this top agent. So their income will be capped, but there is a sense of security that you're not alone, you're on a team that's helping bring in business, and that's a great option too. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Got it. Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of different models out there. So
Yep.
do some homework for sure.
Exactly. Yep.
So as a new professional, what should someone focus on?
Okay. I say first year agent, you should be committed to learning. Like I said, I say it a million times, the back end, once you get your license, you've got to be in a coaching program. You've got to learn behind the scenes. I encourage people, even before you get licensed, to be in a coaching program so you can hit the ground running. Once you get your license, you'll know what it means to prospect for sale by owners and expireds, how to handle sellers' objections, learn what to say, when to say it, and how to say it when you're belly bit face to face with a buyer or seller. So doing that, the more you get trained in the listing and selling of real estate, wherever you are in the process, the better and quicker you'll generate revenue. The other thing is shadowing and field training, because I'm in New York, right? So I can't help agents in the field. There's the weekly calls, there's the weekly webinars, but if they can connect with another agent who has experience and create a mentor relationship, that would also be good. That'll cut off the learning time. And the last thing is deciding if you're going to be a listing agent or a selling agent. And I don't want to get lost in the weeds on that. How are we on time? Okay.
Yeah.
So, Julie, are we getting questions from people?
So many questions.
So many questions.
We're gonna have to jump into those soon.
I have 2 pages of questions.
Okay, so maybe let me just look at this. Maybe we should just jump to those questions. I'll finish that thought. That okay. In every real estate transaction, there's the side with the buyer and the side of the homeowner, the listing. So sometimes an agent does both sides. They listed the house for sale and they sold it themselves, which, by the way, if you do that, it's called a double dip because you're making more money because you're managing both sides of the transaction. Working with buyers is easier because buyers, you show them the house, you work with them nice. With a seller, it takes more effort because you have to show a homeowner why they should hire you versus somebody else. So that takes a stronger skill set. But the agents who are making the six figures are the ones that they build listing inventory. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, starting as a new agent, you should think about, do you want to be a listing agent or a selling agent showing properties? You won't make as much money as a selling agent traditionally, but it's easier. And so that's it. Do you think we should, Tina, go to questions now?
I absolutely think we should. And I just want to piggyback on what you said. I obviously am an advocate for education and lifelong learning. And in real estate, it is continuous, right? There's always opportunity to learn and expand. So I just love that comment. So Julie, why don't we jump over and address some of the questions that we've got, and then we'll circle back, and I'm sure we may have some final tips and advice from Daryl. So let's jump over and address some of the questions.
Okay, well, let's start with one we've gotten a lot of, and that is, how do you go about choosing a broker? And a piggyback to that is, how do you go about choosing and interviewing a broker during this time where we're socially distancing?
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you the number one thing to not focus on, which is the number one thing that agents do focus on, and that is the commission split, like how much money the broker is going to pay you out of the transaction. That should not be your focus, because you get what you pay for, right? What you really want to focus on is the culture of the company. How does it feel? Because if you don't love the office or the company, like if you don't drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak, it's going to impede. You're not going to want to work. So if you got a high commission split, but you don't like your company that you're working, here's what I guarantee you: you'll make this much money. So if you're passionate about your broker and the company that you work with and the agents you like, you're going to want to get up and you're going to want to go make a difference in people's lives. You want to help people get the message out. So to me, the most important thing is the culture and how it makes you feel. The other thing I'll say about that is it's be okay with, if you make a choice, your first choice, and 6 months down the road, you're like, I think I made the wrong choice. That's okay. That happens a lot, because as a new agent, you don't know what you need and what you don't know that you don't. It's part of the learning process. So it's possible you could change companies after being there for a few months. So that's just part of the process. All right.
Yeah, and it's all about the people. I just wanted to piggyback. I know us as a school at Hondros College and Real Estate Express and Arizona schools and several of our others, we help connect our students with brokerages so that they can talk with them, meet with them.
Good.
We have virtual open houses and career nights so they can connect virtually right now. So when you're looking for a real estate school and exploring getting licensed, that's something to look for in a school, is see if they have an opportunity for you to connect with brokers. So I just wanted to throw that out there as well.
They should just work with you guys. You're the Amazon of real estate education. That's what I say.
We're all about helping people be successful, for sure, and finding happiness, right? There's no doubt.
Absolutely.
So Julie, why don't you go to the next one?
I'm trying to lump those that are similar together. I have people asking from many different states, what's the best way to find the real estate school? So what's nice about you is you kind of have this umbrella, right? So can you tell people where to go? We are going to give people a link at the end as well, but can you give a little bit more information if you're in Ohio or San Diego, or whatever state or county that you're in? What's the best way to go about finding a licensing school?
Yeah, so I am with Calibri Learning Company, and we are a family of real estate educators across the country. So we've got some local brands in Ohio with Hondros College, in Arizona with Arizona School of Real Estate and Business and Hogan School of Real Estate. We're in North Carolina with Superior School of Real Estate, California with Allied Schools, and then we are national in all states with Real Estate Express and with McKissick. So regardless of where you are, we can help you get through that licensing process and help connect you with brokers who they're looking for new talent. So it's really a great time to get started.
Tina, is there another website? This is what I think we were given to put
Yep.
on this slide. Is that the best one, or is there another?
No, the
Okay.
slide here is perfect. So we added a page specifically for the individuals participating today. So they can go to info.realestateexpress.com/get-licensed. And on there, it has links to all our different schools. And we have one single phone number. I don't know if we've got it on the slide, but we have an 888 number.
Hang on, I've got the slide over here, so I'm going to put it in there now.
Okay.
888.
It's 888-466.
Yep.
3767.
Yeah.
And we have our student success team that's available to help answer questions, and they're taking appointments if someone wants to spend a little bit of time talking through their specific state requirements. You know, in real estate, they vary from state to state. A lot of the discipline and it carries across the country, but the courses might vary slightly. And so we have individuals ready and excited to talk to you, to walk you through that process and talk about specific state requirements.
See, this is why I said that about you guys. This is the one stop for anybody who's thinking about getting into real estate, the whole licensing portion of it. This is where they should just go, is to you guys. It'll be so much easier for them. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Daryl. Absolutely. We'll make it as easy as possible to get through this, for sure.
We have quite a few people that are asking if they can get licensed in multiple states. They live in one state but want to get licensed in another state because they plan on moving. I'm surprised at how many times that has come up. We have quite a few people that are moving to another state. So how do they get licensed into another state if they don't live in that state?
So I'll take a stab at that, and then Daryl, if you want to piggyback on anything.
No, this is your thing.
There's licensing based on each state. Now, many states have reciprocity with other states, so it's going to depend because they all have their own laws and they all decide whether they will allow for reciprocity. There is a common theme going on out there right now where the states are trying to work more closely together. And so you may be licensed in a state and travel to another state, and they may say, you don't need to take the state portion of the exam. You just need to take the smaller portion of the exam that just covers some of our state laws. So it's a lot easier if you're already licensed to go into another state and get licensed in most cases. And I can't say that applies to all 50 states, but really common in today's world.
I think, for example, it used to be this way. If you were licensed in New York, it was easier to get licensed in Florida.
Yeah.
Especially because there are so many New Yorkers moving to Florida. And yeah, okay, good.
Yep.
Awesome. Great information. Julie, what else you got?
Yes, I am looking to relocate to a lower income state. Would like to know where the trends are showing the fastest growing real estate markets. Do we have any information on that?
No, I don't have, here's where I'll tell you to go though. If you were to search realtor.com data research, or it's realtor.com research, maybe don't put the .com because that'll confuse it. Go into Google, type in realtor stats or realtor research or realtor data, something like that. You'll see a page and they keep track of regionally what's happening in real estate. Yeah, so that would be my tip there.
Yeah, and I do believe Riz Media has come out with some information on hot topics and markets in real estate right now as well. So we'll take a look, and maybe we could put a link on our page about that.
Yeah,
That's
and you
a
know
great
what?
question.
We should, I feel horrible. I'm going to throw this on here, Julie. I didn't even think of this. I'm going to see if we can move this here. Let's put Risk Media's website on here. And so go ahead to the next question. I'm going to make this edit while I'm doing
Also,
it.
while you're playing with that slide, those two graphics that you see on the top, those are giveaways to you guys for today. These are gifts for you. When you go to that site, the info.realestateexpress.com/get-licensed, you will be able to get that real estate career switch kit as well as the income guide. So I think that'll answer a lot of your questions as well. We have kind of a multiple, I'm going to just layer this together. Can you tell us the process of getting licensed with an online school, how long it takes to get licensed? So I think these two questions kind of go together, but they'll answer a lot of people's questions.
Yep, and again, I will stress that although a lot of the concepts and principles within real estate are the same in all states, each state has its own licensing requirement. So and I'll give you a couple of examples. So in Ohio, it's 120 hours. You can take it in the classroom, which right now we're live streaming with a live instructor who can answer questions and is walking you through. We also have online. In Arizona, similar situation, the delivery, you have access to instructors, you have access to live stream, and you can also take them in an asynchronous kind of at your own pace online, but it's only 90 hours in Arizona. So they really do vary state to state, the number of hours that you need to complete, but they're all relatively similar. And again, I would look for having those options. And to me, there's no replacement for an instructor. So looking to have an instructor available that you can ask questions, and having those different options available on how to complete the courses, because we all learn a little bit differently. So making sure those are available to you.
Great. Awesome.
Love it. Let's see. I've researched startup costs and first year costs so I can try to budget. Can you give me a rough estimate on costs? Well, I guess we went through that. 2,000 to 5,000 is the estimate.
Right.
Can real estate actually get too saturated with too many agents in a market?
That's a good question. No, what we're finding, as I had mentioned, I don't know if I had mentioned this, that the realtor membership for the association has grown every year since 2011, but in these last 6 months, it actually went down by 20,000 people. So what we're finding is that there's agents that are, it's not getting saturated because of this new real estate reality. Some people can't swing it. So I wouldn't worry about that. And going back to the thermostat too, regardless of even that, your success in real estate has nothing to do with saturation and not saturation. It's what you do, and that's what you should focus on.
Excellent. If you'd mentioned that that real estate is not for everybody, what are the characteristics do you think that are a good real estate person should possess to be successful?
Yeah, we kind of covered that too, Julie, but if that's a recent question.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so let me cover it again. You have to be a self-starter. You're nobody's giving you a paycheck, so you've got to step up and generate the business. I will tell you, to me, the most important characteristic is not having fear control you and have you. So one of the things we focus on with our students, and you'll see the website there, which, by the way, let me just say this, Tina, no matter where you are, even if you're not licensed in real estate yet, I encourage you to look at our coaching program at $27 a month, because you will learn a lot about these type of questions and answers to these questions about what characteristics, what do you need to focus on, how do you make money with your license. That's what I teach. That's what our company does. And you may learn just in being a power agent that you don't want to do real estate because it's not for you. But going back to the specific answer, the most successful agents have the ability to pick up the telephone and prospect and call people and say, yeah, I'm calling about your house for sale. I understand you're trying to sell it. I was wondering, are you working with agents? And if so, how can we work together? So there's a whole prospecting aspect, which can be unnerving for people. And if you're okay with that, you can make six figures, because that's the number one thing agents hold them back, is they're afraid of the telephone. Yeah. Okay.
Do you need a broker to sponsor you or to become a real estate agent?
I will.
And can you be your own broker?
So, what was the last part of that, Julie? I just want to make sure I heard it right.
Do you need a broker? Can you be your own broker? And can you work with multiple brokers? So all three of those kind of in that same genre.
Yep. So and again, that will vary a little bit state to state. So you, as an agent, you do work for a broker. There are a couple of variations of that. So in some states, you need to have a broker before you actually test and get licensed. In other states, you have time after you pass the licensing exam to find a broker. There are still other states where it's broker licensing. So an individual would get licensed as a broker and work for a managing broker. So there's a couple different scenarios there, but I would say in most cases, when you're getting your initial license, you need to be working with a broker. Just the timing of that may vary slightly state to state.
And then after, depending on the state qualifications, if you want to then become your own broker, run your own brokerage, again, depending on the state, you may have to be a licensed agent for a certain length of time before you can qualify to even become an owner broker. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and often there's a number of transactions. Some states it's 22 years of experience with an active license, and some states have broker specific courses, and other states require degree level courses. And I will mention that within our group of education companies, we do offer a 2-year associate's degree program specific for individuals who want to move on and get their real estate broker's license and need those higher ed courses. And those are all available online. So a nice option and a really economical option if you're looking to complete either a 2-year degree or just need specific courses for your broker license.
Perfect. So we've got a lot of questions coming in asking again about specific states, specific state requirements, specific state costs. So the recommendation is to go to this landing page that we've set up for you there, info.realestate, or call that express.com/get licensed, or call that number. Your team is available to help guide everybody on what is specific for their requirements in their state and what their laws are, because we have a lot of those legal questions and many questions for state.
I wish we had all day, but I tell you what, we've got all week and all month that we can work with you and get you through. So rather than go through the requirements for all 50 states, what we'd like to do is talk to each individual and discuss your needs in your state. So if you go to that page and you can complete the form or you can call us, we're going to set up appointments so that we can talk to you whether you're in Texas, California, Arizona, Colorado, anywhere, and we can talk you through those specific requirements to get through the courses. And I know there's more information there with Darryl and his coaching, and just take advantage of these resources that are available to you. Like I said, I'm a huge advocate for education and learning and learning from people. So surround yourself with people you can learn from, because you'll find it'll really help your business grow for sure.
Awesome.
I think our link there a little bit, we are asking a lot of people, how do they get in touch with us regarding the coaching program? And you'll see the link there. It's very easy, thepowerprogram.com. If you go there, piggybacking on that question is
Julie, I'm gonna put our phone number in here. Perfect. And so that way they have it. I will say though, if you guys go to that website, thepowerprogram.com, we have a chat on that page, and there's a real human being. It's not a automated chat. So there's somebody there, and they can help you too if you don't want to call. But there's our phone number as well. By the way, everybody, here's what you can do right now. Let me teach you a little trick in case you don't know this. If you hit your print screen keyboard right now on your keyboard print screen, it'll capture this image that's on your computer screen. And I don't know where it saves it on your computer because that you need to know where it saves it, but it'll take an image of the screen and it'll save it on your computer, so you have all that. Okay, go ahead, Julie, or just handwrite it. Handwrite it. You had something there, Julie? Go ahead.
I do. We have so much. One, a lot of people are asking if they will get a replay of this. There's so much information. Yes, we are going to be sending out a replay of this. That's why we were recording it. We knew it was going to be a lot of information, a fire hose, as you like to say, Daryl. So we are going to be sending a replay that won't be sent out until tomorrow because the US to render and that kind of thing. But I do want to reassure everybody that they'll get that. Daryl, after you get your license, what is the next steps? Like, what is the best prospecting avenues? How do you jumpstart who do you start calling, that kind of thing?
That's a really long answer to that question. So, but I don't want to not answer it, right? So once you get licensed and you've got your office that you're working in, the first thing you probably should do is learn the market. So look at listings, what's currently for sale, who are some of the other agents. Like, you got to know your market, your area. Also join the closed Facebook group and the community group. So wherever you live or you're going to list and sell real estate, there's probably a Facebook group. Join that group so you'll start to see other homeowners and people live in the neighborhood to learn about the neighborhood. So that would be the first thing. And the other thing is you've got to put together certain presentations. The two presentations you need is one that you would do for when you find a buyer who wants to work with you. And the second one is when a homeowner wants to sell their house and you want to tell them why they should hire you. So you have to create those two presentations. It's a lot. That's why I encourage you for that $27 a month. If you become a power agent, you will get all that. I like to think we have the best training in the industry for people at the price that we charge. So
yeah, it's unbelievable. I totally encourage people to take advantage of that. That's so helpful.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you. So Julie, you got anything more?
Yes.
Yes, she says. Oh my
God.
God.
Kind of lump them together because there's just so much. What are some good what good websites do you start looking at for housing, for houses? How do you really get started? I would say just really funnel, right? Just start with these two sites. Don't get lost in the weeds with okay, do I go to Zillow? Do I go here?
Yeah.
Once you get into a mentoring system and in with the broker, that's a good place to start. Will my broker?
Let me say something about that. Gang, so this is very important what I'm going to say. So please, everybody, if you weren't listening, listen now. And that is, when you first start doing real estate or you start to go down this path, you're first going to learn everything that you don't know. So you're going to actually learn more of what you don't know versus what you do. And that could make you feel frustrated and stupid. And so you have to understand that that is part of the process, right? Of learn. It's almost like if you pick anything, like let's say you want to learn how to fix your car. So you open up the hood and you've got this mechanic and he's saying, well, there's the carburetor, there's the spark, blah, blah. Oh my God, I didn't know all this. That's the part of the learning process, and you have to embrace it and accept it. Do not get frustrated. Do not get overwhelmed. Inch by inch, life's a cinch, yard by yard, it's hard. Don't focus on all of what you don't know, just a little bit at a time, and you will get there. Okay? Is that good, Tina?
That was great advice. I loved that. I love that. You know, we hear from individuals all the time that say, oh my gosh, I haven't been in a classroom, or I haven't learned, or I haven't taken a test. And decades in many cases. And we hear it all the time. It's okay. Allow yourself to learn, take it day by day. And your quote was beautiful. I think it's cool.
Inch by inch, life's a cinch. That's my favorite. How long is the coaching program? Do you have to be in for a certain amount of time?
No, you can. Right now, we're running a special where actually you can get in for just the $5 for the first 30 days, and you can cancel anytime. So you can look at this, kick the tires, 3 weeks, cancel. All you do is pay $5, but there's no long-term contract. It's month to month.
Is getting a real estate license a good idea for real estate investors?
Tina, what are your thoughts? I have a thought. What is your thought?
We do get that question quite a bit. And I think taking the courses is always a good idea, and learning and understanding whether you want to actually test and be licensed. I think there are a lot of different things that you should consider. So I think I'll toss it back to you there, Daryl, but the education, always take advantage of the education that's available to you.
Yeah, I think education is not a bad thing. And I know some agents who got into real estate to get licensed so they could invest in real estate. It's useful, it's not bad, but it's not necessary. You know, if you really want to be an investor, finding a good already licensed agent to help you actually would be better than you trying to be your own agent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because you get that emotion in there when it's personal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and plus you're now learning another part of the business, and it's taking you away from, like, an investor. They should focus on getting the tenant or the whatever you're investing in.
Yeah.
I would rather just hire an agent, go find me what I want, and then let me focus on my part. So that's my recommendation. Go on, Julie.
Yeah.
Marjorie wants to know, is it difficult to get in with a broker? Are they open to new agents without experience? Yes.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I wanted to answer that one.
New talent, enthusiasm, great attitudes. I mean, all of that. We work with brokers all over the country, and I can tell you they will welcome new talent with open arms.
You know, I'm going to say something on that. I've got to share this. I'm going to give me 1 second. I'm going to say this, gang, and that is let me finish my thought. It's not like corporate America where you hope you get hired. When you become licensed, you actually interview the broker. Not so much the other way around. They still do, but you will not have a problem finding a broker. As a matter of fact, you'll probably have 2 or 3 brokers wanting you to work for them. So you do the interviewing more so than the other way. I'm gonna put a website up. But Julie, you can go ahead. Ask the next question.
Real Estate Express offers multiple programs. How do you know which one is best for you?
So I'm going to say, as far as getting licensed, and I've said it before, you know, I'm a big advocate for education and utilizing the resources that are available to you. I do it once, do it right, and never do it again, right? Like get it right the first time, go through the classes. Again, if you have the opportunity to get in front of an instructor and take classes via live stream, I would recommend that. Utilize your textbooks, we have an exam prep product, CompuCram, utilize the resources so that when you go through, you can stay focused and pass that exam. Because as Daryl has alluded to throughout this session, you know, the real work is after you pass that exam, building your business and learning how to be a professional in the real estate world and how to build your business. So don't mess around with, you know, trying to shortcut on the front end if you can. And we work with individuals, we work with PayPal credit, we have options, and we'll talk to you about that individually and what those options are. But I highly encourage you to take advantage of the resources that are there. We've been doing this a long time, and we are focused at making sure you're successful at that exam and doing it right the first time. And the other thing I'll add is don't sort of dilly-dally through classes. If you're going to make the commitment, get going and get through them. Don't stretch it out over a year. Like in most cases, you can take a couple of weeks and get through the classes, commit to it, and get through that exam, because the work's on the other side, building your business.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Let me go, Julie. I'm just going to show everybody because it made me think of it. So if you go to Amazon and you type in my name, Daryl Davis, with 2 R's, you see it spelled there, you will, this book here, where is it? How to Make $100,000 your first year in real estate. There's a whole chapter about interviewing the real estate broker. There's in that chapter, one of the I don't know if we have a chapter thing, but it actually has the actual questions. You sit down with the broker. So this is great for the new agents. Okay, so that's what I just wanted to show. Okay.
Awesome. I've got actually several agents that say that a broker is wanting them to sign a contract before they go somewhere else. They want you to sell so many houses before you leave. Is that legal? Can they do that? Actually have several asking that.
And I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I haven't either. I would say try another broker there.
Yeah. We tell people, I'm not an attorney, and I would seek legal advice, but that, yeah, I'm unfamiliar.
You know, I'll tell you where that's probably coming from. First of all, I've never heard that, but knowing how brokers think with 30 years under my belt, the challenge that brokers have, what's a challenge for them is when they hire an agent, a new agent, they spend a lot of time and energy to teach them how to run their business. They're not trainers like I am. So they do it out of necessity. It's hard for them to do. That's not their skill set. And so it's frustrating for a broker to spend time and energy trying to help a new agent, and then they wind up dipping and going to another real estate company. So this is why they may be saying, listen, before you can leave, you've got to sell 2 or 3 so they can make their money back. So that's probably the thinking, and I wouldn't sign it. So don't. There you go.
We do have a gentleman that is just giving advice. Look for proper websites. Use beware of a home inspector that does everything from bugs to drug testing. In other words, you need to look for reputable people to work with. I think that's kind of the next step in real estate. You need to take these baby steps first.
Julie, real quick, I want to just show people while you look at these questions. This is Risk Media's website, which I put on that slide, riskmedia.com. And oh, by the way, while I'm doing this, hang on. Let me first go here. And this is when you go here, let me see, I'm sorry, give me a second. There's the Real Estate Career Switch Kit, the Income Guide, the Career Hub. I've seen these. These are off the hook awesome. These are PDFs. And so that's the website that we gave you to go there to look more about real estate. Risk Media, this is the go-to place when it comes to learning. It's educational. There's articles and there's videos. There's some great stuff. And plus there's learning about real estate. The other one is the Realtor.com, which I probably don't have to do that, but Realtor.com has great resources for people. So that's a site that you should go to. News and Insights. If you're going to become an agent, that's where this is for the civilian looking to buy and sell real estate. You want the News and Insights because here you'll learn some stuff about behind the scenes. And then last is our company, the Power Program. When you go here, this is where you'll learn about our coaching program, how it works, and that kind of stuff. So become a Power Agent. If you click there, you'll learn more about the course and how it works. And well, that's not the right link, but anyway, you get the point. All right, so Julie, other questions?
Classroom real there, quick, just so people can see what's in the classroom for them.
I'm gonna have to log in, which I'll be happy to do. So don't anybody look at my password now if I can get it going. I may actually, Julie, I may not be able to log in here right now. So yeah, so why don't you continue? Let me do this. I'm going to log in, go to the next question. I'm going to turn my screen off so I can find my password. Go ahead, Julie.
No problem. So would you say it's best to start with a team or start by working with a seasoned broker or seasoned agent to just kind of get your feet wet?
I think working with a seasoned agent is a good model. So you will learn the business quicker if you work under somebody who's already experienced. It'll impede your revenue, but it's a quick start to work under another agent. It'll take a year off of your learning curve. Wouldn't you agree, Tina?
Yeah, I mean, when you can surround yourself with someone who has more experience and, a mentor is always a good idea.
Yeah.
Tina, this question is for you. A lot of people are asking, when do you think you might have live in-class sessions again? So like in school, not online.
Well, what I can tell you is we miss students in the classroom so very much. We are taking all precautions to make sure that there is a safe environment when we return back to the classroom. We are meeting multiple times a week to make sure that we have that safe environment ready to go, and that when we feel that the risk of infection is diminished, we will be opening our doors and starting classroom. But we have worked around the clock to make sure that we can deliver a live stream option to individuals so they can still have the same classroom experience while we continue to keep people safe, because that's the most important thing right now. We're going to band together and get through this. And we highly encourage, if you're holding off because you really feel that online isn't an option for you, and I would agree, online, you need to be disciplined. You need to you need to show up and get in your course. If you need that structure of a classroom, try the online or the live stream option. I'm sorry. Try the live stream, and we will walk you through. We have a video of how to do it. It's very similar to this. You'll actually have interaction with the instructor. So I highly encourage you to consider the live stream option. But utilize those instructors, man. They're fabulous.
Awesome.
And plus, when it comes to this new real estate reality, using virtual meetings is now an important skill set to be a real estate professional.
Great comment.
So, if you're not okay with that, that's going to also be an issue in your business too once you get into real estate. So, Julie, I was able to get into the site, and real quick, gang, what Julie wanted me to show you is that after you become a power agent, this is your portal, and there's a place called Classroom. And what's really cool about the Classroom is we've broken this up into categories like working with buyers and self-promotion, the listing appointment, handling objections. So anyway, there's webinars that we do, there's tech training, but a lot of this is live also. So it's not just the website, there is weekly coaching calls. But anyway, this is the buyer section of how to do real estate and the dialogues that you need and forms that you need. And I am just going to go to this last one here, which is is that the webinar? Yeah, webinars on demand. So we do weekly webinars with these trainings. And so they're live with workbooks and handouts associated with it. But there's also the live element. So every Monday there's a live coaching call. So it's just really an incredible program that we have. Again, it's only $27 a month, so it's really the best investment for anybody. So okay.
Awesome. We've got multiple state questions, that kind of thing, licensing and that. The best thing to do, guys, is if you have questions, is to head to that realestateexpress.com/get-licensed. We'll be sending that link out as well as our link in the replay. They have people standing by to answer your questions per state. If you don't see your state listed on that site that you've got education partners, Tina, so make sure that all 50 states are covered. So they've got people standing by that can help you over the course of the next couple of days determine how long it takes in your state, what the cost is in your state.
I don't think it's on the website, Julie, right? It's the phone number, Tina, right? To get individual states, is it on the
Yeah,
web?
if you go to that website, you can fill out a form. We're going to set up appointments so that we can walk individuals through their specific state requirements and their needs and their questions, and get them signed up, or get them get more questions answered. So we are excited to talk to you and walk you through this, and that's what we're here for. And we're here all the time, not just the next couple of days, but always, to help support you through the process.
Wonderful. And if you do have those coaching questions, we are on our side as well with the chat and the phone number there. We're happy to answer those questions for you. I know this is a lot. These are big decisions. We don't take them lightly for you. So just know that there are resources here for you. The best thing that you can do is, I think you guys started off at the top of the hour or hour and a half ago, was
Right.
education is your friend, right? Information is your friend. So as you're diving into this, kind of flood yourself with information and reach out and talk to people, as opposed to sometimes it's just easier to pick. And with both of our organizations, you have the ability to pick up the phone and talk to a human being. And that makes all the difference in the world, I think, when you're determining this is a step off of a cliff in a way. You know, it's a whole new arena for people. And we've got a lot of people that are already licensed and are kind of wading through this. So reach out and ask, either our companies the questions that you have, and we're happy to help you navigate. We love new agents. I know you and your organization love new agents. We love the energy and the inspiration. And one of the things that we do talk about what the average first year agent makes, but we've seen first year agents that do remarkable things.
Yes.
Right? And a lot of that is because they have the blinders on. Here I'm just gonna go for it. But they also don't have all the prejudices and the I can't, somebody, don't listen to the people that tell you can't, right? So that's a huge part of success, especially in your first year. Find somebody that is willing to walk you through, but is not one of those old curmudgeon people that said, oh, you can't do that in your first year. There's no saying what you can and can't do in your first year. That's all mindset and your ability to work hard and jump in. So
here's the bottom line, is that you just pursue this to the next. It's really hard to make a decision before you put your feet in the water with it. So that's why it would not be bad. It wouldn't look horrible on your resume if you had on there that you're a licensed real estate professional. And because that entry level is so low, it's good for you to continue this inquiry. And we hope too that you want to become a power agent, because there too, for that minimal amount, you'll start to see behind the curtains of what an actual real estate agent does, and that'll help you. So this was great, Tina. I really appreciate you doing this. Is there anything else you want to add to this?
No, I want to say, I think you've been fabulous. Your team's been fabulous to work with. What a great organization, and what you're doing for licensees and real estate professionals is fabulous. So thank you for that. Thank you to Riz Media for supporting this. And I'll turn it back to you. Do you have any additional tips or anything you want to throw out there as we finish up today?
No, I think we've covered everything. The last thing I would probably say is I was conservative with the revenue up front, because I don't want to give people high hopes. But Julie said it. You can blow. I mean, I wrote the book, How to Make $100,000 Your First Year Real Estate. So the sky truly is the limit. But it takes work, so we don't want to blow smoke at people. If you're committed and you're willing to pay the price, like anything else in life, if you put the work in, you'll succeed. Real estate is an option for people, especially if you've been hurt financially because of the coronavirus. This is a possibility, so please look at it for yourself and for your family. Okay, that's it for me, man.
And when you're out there finishing your first year and you're rocking it, you call us and let us know, because we want to hear about it.
Amen. That's awesome.
All
All
right.
right, Julie, we'll close this out, yes?
Yes, I think we will. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for spending your time with us.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye now.
Okay, bye-bye.